All right, guys, we are here in an undisclosed location in the beautiful state of Arizona, and we wanted to take a few minutes to go over kind of the evolution of the tent roll, a product we have not yet released, but that is currently in development. But Father Wisdom's been working on it for over 7 years. Some of you know we had a honeymooner back in 2018-ish. We still get people asking for a 2-person bedroll. Well, this is...
I bet we get multiple emails a week on, when are you coming out with a 2-person?
Yeah, when are you coming out with the 2-person? Is the honeymooner coming back? Well,
yeah.
This is better than the honeymooner, and it definitely works for 2 people. This is one of the first renditions, not the first. There were a few before. But briefly, T, and you can get various angles. Feel free to walk around and get all the angles, T. But what were some of our initial thoughts? We've got an exterior pole system here, guy lined out, window front and back.
Why did we go away from the honeymooner design in the first place that probably sent us down this path?
The production, making it was a nightmare.
Nightmare. So let's back up. If I go with a group of people, I love my bedroll, but also when you're with mixed couples, I needed some privacy. So I wanted a little tent that I could roll up just like my bedroll and have my privacy with other people. So I was going on a hunt to Arizona with a bunch of dudes, and I like to sleep by myself. So I thought, I'm just going to throw something together. So I did, and this is basically what the first one looked like. A few things that you're going to notice that changed is the height on the door, and these are T'd. And the newer one's going to have an L in it, and the window's still going to be in it, but it's going to, you can't go in. You have to sort of duck and crawl in. So I didn't like, something needed to be done with the door. This tent has spent a couple of winters in my backyard just to test the poles. And as you can see, it could take a lot of snow and it would cave the sides in. And I didn't like that very much. So I wanted to do something. The original ones had those plastic like
clips that go over the pole.
Everybody have. But I wanted to go to something that was a little more flexible. And I didn't like this.
Just in the way when you're coming out? In the way when you
come in and out. As you can see, there's really a stress point here. You can see that it's starting to point. And you can see it in this. You can just sort of see how, and eventually...
So it's hanging from these exterior poles, basically,
yes.
Right?
And I just didn't like that.
How early on did you get this sidewall to pull out?
Probably like 3 or 4 years ago.
Because I think that's
a game changer.
A huge game changer. Because without it, it's like in here.
Oh,
it takes away a ton of space. Without it, you put it in and all of a sudden you have a couple feet extra inside.
So
then we have this window up in the eaves, which is nice.
It's nice,
and that's changed over time.
You'll see the difference.
Anything else that's significant?
I tried experimenting with running the seams this way and tried to get it taller because the other tents are a 5x5 with the seam in the top, where I thought and I did get more height in this one than the original ones. But I tried that, but it put 2 more seams that are possibly leaks, and I didn't like that at all. So in the future ones, I wanted the seam to be in the top, and then I wanted the seam to be in the top taped or overlapped, and then it would really give you a lot more strength, and you wouldn't get all this.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, this tent's held up. Like I said, I've used this for probably the last 5 years. It's spent a couple winter. I mean, I set it up in November and I leave it all winter out in my backyard.
Okay, quick question, because you use it a lot. T, you've used it several times too. We get the comment all the time with, all our sleep systems, so I just want to hit it fairly consistent. How much condensation do you get sleeping in this? I've never slept in this one. How you've slept in it a lot? You've slept in it a few times. Any condensation issues with
Zero.
it?
I've been sleeping in this one for the last 2 nights. Rain.
With
never.
crazy
Rain,
temperature swings.
cold.
We're right by a
Outside.
creek.
No condensation.
No
We've had
condensation.
No condensation.
It's
Any
this
of the
crazy
mornings,
thing about this
using
material.
Up in Wyoming.
It's called canvas, and it
It
actually
breathes.
breathes, people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
not
I think
nylon.
yeah, that's the
I've
big
made
thing.
2 of these that are identical to this out of light nylon that I pack in, and those things get tons of condensation, and I can't stand it. I've slept in the one, and I mean, it was like 10 below, and it was like Frostville.
It
Yeah.
really kills
My
us
water-
though, when we get so many comments about condensation.
And it's
And
not.
it's not like
an
we haven't been
issue.
using these for 20 years. At least
Yeah.
you have. And if
Yeah,
there was a
these-
condensation problem, guess
Wha-
what, guys?
Wouldn't we
wouldn't be
address
selling
it? We
them.
wouldn't be selling it. Like,
Yeah.
If there's an inherent
These-
problem, we
I thi-
wouldn't do it.
I think one of the main issues with the condensation comments is a lot of people are discovering us, which we're super grateful for.
Yeah.
And they're coming from a nylon background. And so they're applying what you would expect with a bivy or a nylon tent to our products. And you can't. It's canvas. And even when it's coated canvas,
They just breathe.
it breathes.
However,
It's not
there are
like it-
guys out there that have experienced with canvas, and they'll say, "Well, I've had condensation," and
Sure.
it's true.
Yeah, you
there are
can.
very few circumstances where you'll get condensation.
Two.
You can get
2 of I know.
condensation in your house. You can get condensation in a
However,
camp trailer.
we work on that stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
With venting,
Absolutely.
proper insulation. Depends on where you put your bedroll or your tent. There's ways to mitigate it. This isn't our first rodeo with it. So
Yeah, and it's not an issue. People are like, "Oh, that's got to be so bad." It's
No.
not.
it's not. We promise.
So this is
So
the
that
back
changed.
side. You can see the back window, and it's
Window in the front, window in the back probably draws a good.
and then if you take a
breeze.
look, this is sort of my final, and there was so much I wanted
How-
in this one.
Did we go from this to this, or were there any?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we took everything we didn't like here, got rid of
Yes.
it. Major obvious difference is internal poles.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
as you can
seeing.
see, there's no drooping.
Drooping.
It's solid. This thing will take a ton of snow.
you've only got one seam through the center here.
Oh, I did do that one. Oh, it's the other little one that I put the. Sorry, guys, I lied. I have a little one that's just like that one. That's the seam, but it has an internal.
It has the internal. It looks like
It
this.
was the step from that one to this,
this one.
But then on this one, I wanted more
Width.
width. I wanted more height. That's why you can only get this canvas in 5 feet, 60 inches. So that's how I got my height, is running it this way. But I did put a ridge. This has got a ridge, a double
Yeah.
seam in the top to strengthen that.
Oh, you can see that T. I don't know if you can
you
see
can
that
see
on camera, but you can see the double layer going
it's
down.
glued
here.
in for strength to keep it from
That's cool.
wearing. So you can see
Yeah.
it's got a nice window. And if there's a way to do it to you, and I think you can, and we've talked about it.
Mhm.
If you look at this tree over here, and I know that we've talked about it, but you can see how it goes out in the front.
I actually like
The ridge pole is
is longer.
4 inches on each side longer than the base.
So this one measures 10 feet on the ridge and 9 feet in the tub.
That's correct. So this one's 9 by 5.
So it's a queen size mattress in the footprint,
Yes.
and then you have a 10-foot ridge that gives you that nice. I like the overhang on this.
I think
it looks good.
I think it's
And it could
practical
function,
in
yeah.
bad weather.
If you get sideways rain, it doesn't. But
Is that your initial thought? Is having overhang? You keep
So if
more rain
it's-
out of the door.
Yeah, if it's blowing this way, it keeps, if it's coming down, it keeps the front of it a lot drier, cleaner.
And T, you can see you went to that acute triangle L shape
This
zipper
flap,
door.
This flap, most of them have, this has a vestibule just like the other one that zips in here. and goes down very nice. I know we've
It is
talked
really
about
cool.
it. I played around with stove jacks. I actually made one identical to this out of just natural canvas and put a stove jack in it, and I just didn't like it. It took up too much room. It's just not.
We
you
can go
use
over
it-
the the do's and don'ts on the stove jack, but
But anyway,
Window and the doors changed.
see how much bigger the window is.
and you went
Huge.
with like
Mega
you went with
airflow.
a gusset right here on this window.
That's to hide the zippers so that the water hits, it'll come down off. Because there's a little thing where the zippers come in. If most tents, and a lot of people ask me, why don't you just put a D thing in this with one zipper? And you have to use that chain zipper. And I've been in scouting forever. And those kids that wouldn't last
The
2 or
chain
3
zippers don't last, do
campouts.
they?
No.
Please
Especially
don't
with a
buy
D.
a D because it's gonna lose track. That's why I go with straight. These are straight. They're not gonna wear.
Oh, big reveal.
This is how I roll.
That's the Taj Mahal for one man.
Yeah,
I have
it's awesome.
my duffel bags. This has all my. I have solar stuff that I can put on top. I can stay for weeks.
That bag
He
has
has-
bags within bags.
Yes.
He has a light that can attach to the top right here, and it's motion sensor, and it will shine down. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Father is the king of
This has a little
organization.
cot that I love. Little chair. I have my battery. I have a light. I
pretty
actually
awesome.
love this thing because I can
Did
go
you
up
bring
to a
the
point.
Did you bring the full body massager on this one, or did you
No.
leave that home?
But I can actually go up and spend a lot of time on a point in glass I usually leave it for 3 or 4 weeks. And when I just go up and stay in it, everything charges. But it's the real deal.
It's a canvas
For me.
mobile home.
It is. It's pretty sweet.
Any improvements, anybody?
So
I'm open to 'em.
we took this one, which is your latest iteration from the basement. We took everything that we loved about this and just duplicated it into our current canvas. And we've already shown this
Yeah,
at great length.
we
but
can. If you haven't seen the video, click right here. We'll put the little card right here where you can watch the video where we reveal this for the first time. The tent roll. Still looking for a name, but you can see here with the vestibule. This is nylon. A lot of suggestions that we go with canvas, which I actually like, and we need to change the.
we got to
the
figure out a
point
better
here.
pull system for the
But
vestibule for sure.
For a future discussion about that. And T, we didn't have gear in it when we showed it. I don't know if you want to get a shot so people can understand, like, you can fit a lot of stuff in there and it's not really fully being used still. But a lot of people on our video where we go over and reveal the tent roll for the first time really want a lot of comments on having a stove flue
Stove
and
jack.
and putting the stove jack in the vestibule, which after tons of
We've had this
testing
debate for hours.
we had this debate in the backyard at Father's for a long time, and you actually did have a stove jack in the
I do.
vestibule.
The one that goes on that, I put it in there with my little stove. But I'll tell you a couple things I don't like is it would break my heart if some of the sparks come down and burn holes in my tent.
You'd have to have a flue come way out on an
Yeah,
angle.
I don't
Way
know
out
how
on
you
an
would do it
angle.
because if with the wind shifting of the wind, and then I'd get all these pinholes in the top of my tent. It's not going to catch on fire, but they're still going to burn through. And I'm just thinking propane's just clean. It's easy.
You could take this on pack animal, no problem.
no
Yeah.
problem.
Right?
Yeah,
And you can
easy.
take a lightweight stove into the backcountry on a pack animal. But the reality is, this is either truck, UTV, ATV, or horses. Of course, you're not carrying this into the backcountry,
Yeah.
right? And so weight is not something that we're really concerning ourselves with. So a stove is a possibility.
Oh yeah,
However,
yeah.
you do have to have a flue that's going to get your spark arrestor way out away from the canvas or nylon, whichever way we go, which is a hassle. But I love the idea of a stove.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
We talked about it forever because it is cool. And
But
there's like an ambiance to having a
also,
wood burning stove going.
They're a lot of stinking work.
Yeah, especially a small one.
You've got to
which is what
chop
you'd be
up the
using.
wood, get it small enough. Then you got to start the fire every night or morning. During the night, you're constantly feeding it.
Yep.
And so we are too, for lack of better words, lazy for that. It's just
Or smart.
It's not-
Or we're smarter. Or we want to be
it's
more
not
efficient.
worth it.
Like Father Wisdom used a buddy burner and it will like get way warm in there.
The propane heaters are just
Yeah.
efficient.
I
My
mentioned,
jet boil heats that thing up.
which I was going to
in a
show
minute.
you. I forgot a little heater because honestly I didn't think it would be super cold, and so Father Wisdom let Luke and I borrow this. This little guy will heat this thing up in a couple minutes. It's a really, really cheap backpacking to cook with, right? You put your little pot right there.
Just an open flame.
Open flame, 3 minutes, it will heat this thing up. So the thought of having a wood burning stove is extremely overkill. And again, the negative is you're gonna have to figure out a way with your flue to get it far enough away from your tent to where you don't have ash and embers coming down and burning
I
your
think
tent.
the big question
So-
though for us is we're men of the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
We build gear for us. We want it to work for us, knowing that it'll work for you. However, the clamoring for a stove jack is quite loud.
Yeah.
So the thing is we are contemplating maybe we design one and put it in there.
the
We
flue.
won't use it, but if you guys are adamant that you want to use it, you've fallen in love with the idea of the tent roll, and you could see yourself using this on your adventures. We love that. We'll put potentially. It's not a promise quite yet, but we are contemplating putting a stove jack in there for those of you that just absolutely want that. For us, it's not an option that makes most sense.
Yeah, doing a
I-
canvas vestibule with a stove jack as an option. If you want
And
to
that was
use
the other
it,
thing,
use
right?
it.
So we're currently using nylon, but a lot of comments were asking for a canvas,
Which
and
I
we
agree
actually
with.
really like that.
Yeah.
That's
Well-
the name of our game.
One more thing I want to point out, and then Dad, you can go. We talked about and are going to do putting a little slit right here
Oh,
that's
it's on that
completely
one.
covered. Oh, is it?
Yeah, you can.
That's
show 'em.
completely
Go around there
covered.
really quick.
For the idea that you can run your gas line out so you can have your buddy heater on the inside. And we had one comment with a person saying that's not necessary, but if you're camped for a week long and you want to have a 5-gallon tank so you don't have to swap out your gas cans, your 5-gallon tank can sit out here with a gas line running into your buddy heater, which is extremely convenient, and you're not swapping gas out. So there is a purpose and a reason behind it, as is everything that we do. We try to think things through quite a bit.
Everybody's
but
got opinions, and
We love them.
we love them.
Yeah, I'm
But at
super
the same
grateful
time, we
for 'em.
also go through this process ad nauseum. We've spent countless hours doing this, so we know a lot, but we don't know everything. And so a lot of your comments are very valuable. But at the same time, know that there is a lot more thought and care behind these before we would ever showcase
show it, yeah.
Right? So
Yeah, I think with the stove jack, I like, if I was doing horses or going in somewhere, the thought's always to me, I have an endless fuel supply.
true.
I don't have to pack a bunch of propane. And I do feel that purpose. But then in the other hand, you have to sort of, because it costs quite a bit of money to have that stove jack put in there. And for everybody, it's not for them. So you sort of have to weigh the two of them.
It doesn't hurt to have it. That's
No,
probably the
I'd
biggest
sooner
thing.
have it, but
Yeah, have it, and if people want to use it, then
Yeah.
we have it, and they can use it.
We could be
but
eating crow someday, and we're up in the back country and
just
feeding the stove.
feeding
right?
it all night.
So-
Yeah, But that's kind of a quick overview of the tent roll, kind of its evolution, some things that we're still thinking about. We thought you guys would be interested in it. And I wanted to emphasize, because, you know, there was a comment like, don't rush this. And then a bunch of, I mean, Father Wisdom hasn't rushed it. It's 7+ years in development, and everything that could be thought through has probably gone through his head. So there's purpose and reason with most of it.
There's a chance we missed stuff.
Sure,
But
that's why
we
we're
wanna
talking
talk.
to the people.
I think we definitely want to figure out our vestibule and the pull system, have that
Yeah.
be more well thought out and
Dialed
in. But again, on this video, the other video, continue to comment if you think of anything. It's super valuable to us. We certainly read all the comments. We take them to heart. We think about them. So for all you guys out there that are experienced, please share your wisdom with us.
Yeah. I hope that was super helpful and insightful to all of you. I do want to point, Luke, come here. Just so that you guys don't think that I'm lying. You know, a child just really has a hard time lying. Luke, come here. Tell the people something. When it's really cold in the morning and at night, and we use that little tiny stove, does it heat the tent roll up?
Yes. Yeah, it does.
And he's not like got his old man strength yet, so he feels the cold, and you can take it from him. That little teeny stove actually heats that up. So to have a huge, like have a wood burning one, yeah, it would roast you out. But anyways, thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
And
We gotta
until
get
next
back
time,
and get a
keep
canvas
on keeping
vestibule
on.
going, huh?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.